Programs and Research Manager at the Politics and Society Institute in Jordan. Thank you so much indeed for your time. Antony Blinken has just said that what Israel is doing is not retaliation. Israel is defending the lives of its people. How do you think diplomatically that will be received in the Muslim world?
It's clear that the goal of Blinken visits is to defend the Israeli narrative and its brutal war on Gaza. But it was met with angry popular responses, which were officially translated into real warnings about the explosion of the situation. It turned out to be as if we were witnessing an excuse or justification for ending the Palestinian race from its land and starting with Gaza. In my opinion, the visit of the US Secretary of State will not make any step forward or backward as long as the US administration announced its support for Israel in advance. And today it is trying to appear as the region's policeman. Battleships at the sea mean that the US at least want to limit the possibilities of escalation only to the benefit of Israel and to wave it from the sea that any pressure on Israel, we are there. What is happening now in Gaza, I think on the diplomatic level was translated by the Jordanian king, King Abdullah, said about the importance of protecting civilians and halting escalation and war in Gaza. Also, the Jordan diplomatic warns against any attempt to displace Palestinians from all Palestinian territories or cause their mass transfer outside Palestine, and takes the situation as an excuse to throw Palestinians to an alternative homeland as a Jordanian concern. Emphasizing the importance of not transferring the crisis to neighboring countries and, let's say, exacerbating the refugee issue. From the Jordanian and Egyptian side, we can say that they was against the adoption or a collective punishment policy toward the people of Gaza. As the King Abdullah said to the US Secretary of State, stressing the need to protect innocent civilians in the line with common humanitarian values and international law.
Hussein, what's the potential fallout here for countries surrounding Israel and Palestine in terms of how they should be preparing for what's to come?
Let's say that we must be prepared to answer the question if there is a mass transfer from Palestinian territories toward Egypt or toward Jordan, or from Gaza and from the West Bank. This is the main concern that we have to meet with or deal with. On the other hand, if we are talking about negotiations, unfortunately, the Jordanian and Israeli relations are at their worst situation, and I don't expect that Amman or Cairo could be able to bring the Palestinian and Israelis together as the neighbors to the negotiation table today, especially since it was not able to do that in much better circumstances than these. The question is, in my opinion, is it an opportunity to have a rule for the neighbor countries such as Saudi Arabia or Turkey to reach a ceasefire as an alternative to the main negotiators in Amman and Cairo? I think the answer is yes. We are facing a very critical war crime against Palestinians. So it is a good opportunity to take the lead on the political scene, especially since Riyadh is getting closer to the developing its relationship with Israel and the good relations, escalating relations between Turkey and Israel. But as a neighbors, there's a big dangerous toward the Palestinian transferring and ending the Palestinian race in this moment.
Hussein, you were talking about the aircraft carrier, I believe, the USS Gerald R. Ford, that the Americans have sent to the region, clearly indicating their support for Israel here. So when Arab countries look at the diplomacy that the Americans are involved in, while the Americans are saying they want the Israelis to protect as many innocent Gazan civilians as possible, they do accept and have allowed Israel to carry out whatever it deems necessary to guarantee its own security. So when Arab countries see that coming out of Washington, do they just have to hold their hands up and say, okay, well, actually, there's nothing we can do about this? If that's what the Americans want, that's what's going to happen.
Unfortunately, that's very sad, as you say. The Arab potential and Arab diplomacy couldn't do anything against the American support to Israel. But on the other hand, that we have a human flood in Jordan, for example, in many cities, in Amman, in the borders with Israel. That the people here in Amman and in Jordan are trying to reach the occupied territories, Palestinian territories, to get them free. So when we are facing a popular pushing on the officials and also on the governments around the Arab world, I think that the peace treaties are on the table and must be getting into negotiation again. Because when we are talking about genocide, there is no peace treaties are active for the neighbors of Israel, and I think it's an opportunity to take the advantage of the escalating of the situation and review the position of the peace treaties around.
Hussein, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Hussein Sarayreh in Amman in Jordan.